The Temple of Throggi. Probably the hardest level in the game, at least in my opinion. Obviously I'll be meeting enemies in later levels which will be even tougher than the Throgs I meet on this one, but taking into account the items and spells and weapons you have right now, I really think it poses a bigger challenge than any other upcoming level. There's a bunch of Throgs patrolling around this area, and I'd love to take them head on in melee instead of using magic, but then I'd burn through my healing items in the first 2 minutes. In melee, Throgs take a lot of hits, and they deal you a lot of damage as well. The greatest advantage of using the firebolts is that it keeps them at a distance. There's a chest here, which contains some interesting items, and which is supposed to lure you into an ambush with the 2 Throgs that I just killed, which is why I entered this passage walking backwards. I hope I'm not making this look too routine by killing them with magic. The thing is that I playtested this level more than any of the others, and actually died quite a few times doing so. I play each level in advance mainly so I can get a good route in my head, so I won't have to wander around too much. Nope, can't force my way through this fence of spears. Anyway, I've played this level in advance so many times that it's now like I know every square inch of it. It's too bad that they reused the mine background for this level once again. I know the Throgs are primitive, but you would think for their temple at least they would have laid down some tiles and brickwork. When I step in front of this door, you hear a slight crunch. That means there's a trap, so I don't want to step inside just yet. Let's move ahead a little first. Oh, another Throg ambush. If you control your rate of fire, you don't really need that many firebolts to lay down a common Throg. And this one drops a wooden dowel. That's actually a very useful item. Let's head back to that door I just mentioned. Because in the wall to the left here is a hole that the dowel fits into, which disarms the trap that is present in this room. If I hadn't done that, right now I would have a face full of Throg attack spells. Not nice.
Flame Rune. Magic fire attack in front of the caster. Additional power increases size, damage, and range.
This is a pretty lame spell, to be honest. When you cast it, it just causes fire to flare up in the square directly ahead of you. I don't think it costs much magic, but I also don't think it causes much damage. I don't think I'm gonna find much practical application for it, but I'll show it off later. Let's move further into this corridor. The door to the left here is locked right now, so let's press on a bit. Not a whole lot of interesting stuff in these barrels. Just one route. This lever to the left, however, is very interesting. Inside this barrel I find another wooden dowel, which I will actually need, because there's another place that fits a wooden dowel in this level. Of course, I could have just taken that other dowel out of the wall again. Anyway, pulling that lever unlocks the door over here, which leads into a winding corridor with a door that leads to this. Now, don't do this, because it hurts. You wouldn't immediately think it, but this is actually a rune staff recharger. A pretty useful thing, since there's no regular mana circles in this level. I'll be making a couple of periodic stops back here, because I will need a few recharges on this level, but I'll try to do it as rarely as necessary. Alright, moving back on. Let's find some more Throgs to kill. Immediately to the left here, more Throgs on guard. I'm gonna start quite a collection of these Throg swords and shields. And there's 4 conspicuous levers on the walls here. we start pulling them, let's see what they might actually do. Looks like we found some prison cells. This one's already open, nothing in the hay. Hey, hey!
Domber, brother, are you all right?
Why, Farley, how good to see you. You should not be out of the clan hall. What would the elders think?
Domber, you haven't changed. Drake, we must open this cullis. Right.
Finally, we found Domber. Alright, let's open his cell. And the others. One lever's already pulled down, so that's obviously the open jail cell. Let's open all the others. Let's check the first one, just to make sure we don't miss anyone.
Another of the folk these Throgs must answer for.
Aye, and they'll answer to my skill, they will.
I'm sure they will. Well, can't do anything for that guy. Second cell was unoccupied.
Domber, we have come to free you.
But these ruins are so interesting. Could you come back later?
This is no time for talk. There are frogs to kill.
You can come with us. We have found many mysteries so far.
That's nice. Yes, well, the shaman has been gone for a while, it seems.
Yay! We have Domber! And he's absolutely useless.
I hope we can find a healer for him. Nay, he has always been thus.
Drake was referring to Domber's absent-mindedness, by the way, not his low health. So yeah, Domber. He has some terrible stats. He can almost use a dagger, and he can not really use an axe and shield. Here's the thing. Domber will hold a dagger or an axe, but he won't actually use it. His weapon skill is so terrible that he can't actually attack. I'll just give him 2 shields and hope for the best. Let's check out the last cell. Empty at first glance, but there's actually a switch on the wall, which leads into an interesting corridor, which I'm not gonna enter just now because it leads into some dangerous territory, and I have more exploring I want to do first. Let's check out the next corridor. Ah, this hissing door leads into the holiest of holies of the temple, I guess. But you either need a very high strength rating in order to open it, or a certain item which I don't have just yet. What have we here? Oh, who was that? Ah! It's a frog shaman, but he's not attacking me.
My pretty little stone! Where is my stone? My little pretty stone! I lost my little pretty stone!
Okay, this guy seems harmless. Let's give him one of our many blue gems.
Oh, there is my pretty stone, my little stone. I saw you in the passage, I did, played by Throggi himself, and nobody knew. No one knew, but I did. Imprisoned, not I. Oh, my pretty stone is home. Single stone return home.
Well, I have a whole bunch of them. Maybe he'd like another one.
Thank you. Nothing like this has happened since I enchanted the green orb with poison.
Alright, note to self, avoid any green orbs. So yeah, this crazy guy was the only excuse for me picking up all those blue gems I found along the way. Nice crackling fire with some disgusting frog drumsticks. And a bucket. What use could that possibly have? Let's just bring it along for now. Nothing in these barrels. Ah.
The smell. These frogs can't even cook right.
The thing I like about the Temple of Throggi is that it's one of the few levels in Stonekeep that actually looks functional. It has barracks, it has a kitchen, it has rooms for a few important frogs. Obviously, the Sharga mines had the excuse of being mines, which explains why they were just randomly winding corridors. But it's nice to have a level that looks like a bit more thought was actually put into its design. On we go. What's behind this door? It's a well. Oh, that's a good excuse to use the bucket. There we go. 1 charge of water. Yeah, great. And over here, we have what may be the one fire in the game that you can't actually put out with a potion. But there's something in it, so let's just use our bucket of water. In the fire, we find another magic armor ring. That goes on Drake's other finger. Really nothing in this barrel? Fine. Let's keep up the pace. Alright, there's at least one more side corridor here that I haven't explored yet. Let's head in there. I hear the sound of shuffling feet. Yup. Let's fry these guys. There we go. Frugal use of fireballs. Just to extend my use of them. There's a couple of rooms to the side here. Now, this is an interesting one. This poor frog can of course do nothing while I blast him from outside, but pay careful attention to the sound. That was the victory sound, but he's still standing, and when we step into the room, he abruptly dies. Kind of a funny glitch here. Nothing else in the room though, let's keep moving. Another private retreat. Oh, it's a frog shaman, but I have a feeling this one isn't going to be as friendly. Frog shamans are pretty damn tough opponents, and you're going to want to take them on up close, so they won't be able to cast any spells at you. Though, frankly, most of the frog shamans you meet will actually rush in for melee battle anyway. Few of them seem properly programmed to actually make use of the spells they have. I'm also going to chow down on some of my super mushrooms, and take some potions to further push up my agility and strength. Alright, let's go. I'm spinning around a lot to try and deflect some of the blows to my dwarven companions. Oh, and there he goes, casting a flame spell at me in his last breath. And he drops a broken and useless runecaster. Thanks a lot. He also drops a froggish dagger, which looks a lot like a cool Gurkha knife, but really just functions and looks exactly like a regular dagger in combat. Oh, and I think my health actually went up. That's cool. A rune scroll in the hay.
Shield rune. Target is protected from ranged attacks.
Ah, now this is going to be a very useful rune, if not really on this level. It protects you from nearly every projectile attack, for instance arrows and firebolts from enemies. We'll stash it away for now, but that will come in useful very much later. Alright, let's go back to the runecasters. There's at least one more room in this core. Oh my god! I was not expecting that guy. Guess he was standing on guard outside one of these rooms. Let's check out this one. Nothing but a pile of hay. And nothing in it, apparently. Last room. This one, at least, is important. In fact, it's a frog important enough to have his own furniture, apparently. Nothing in his barrels, but I think the idea is that you break them so he's alerted to your presence.